Yeah, closer.
Well, here we are, episode 3. Greg, how you doing this week, buddy?
Man, another week down, and we are starting to roll along with our episodes now, right?
Yeah,
Where
it's
we're
been
going to be at an episode 10 or 20. That's going to be fun.
yeah, we'll get there. What a crazy week in the market. Finally, it's been just nonchalant bull run, and now we had some craziness last week. So that was pretty interesting for once. The volatility's back. So I think it's probably the fact that we're coming into early October here. I think it's going to kind of set the precedent for the fall session. I mean, September's done. Everybody's back. We had that huge day on Friday. And yeah, I think it's going to be like this up until Christmas. We'll see if it's going to be up or down. But we also, I think we got a big week with earnings. So I think it's going to be a good time. It's going to be exciting this week. Did you get to much trading this week?
I didn't as much as I wanted to because you know how coding goes. You start kind of getting yourself down a rabbit hole, and then all of a sudden you just start jumping with it. But I had a really good week last week, though. I finally did get a pretty decent sized payout. So I mean,
Oh
I'm
yeah.
keeping my payout streak alive.
How much was the payout?
This last one was 1,850, and last month
From
was from Apex. Actually, believe it
Apex.
or not,
Okay.
they are paying out the most. Honestly.
Yeah, I've seen that with you. I mean, I think you've probably done all the popular prop firms, eh? You've done Apex. What are your other prop firms? Are you with Blue Knox?
Yeah, I like using Blue Knox just because they're cheap and they do use arithmetic data, but it's really good for NinjaTrader to just get your bots and your platform on some evals and see how it happens. And I've gotten a payout from them as well too. I made I think $1,000 from them in
Yeah.
payout, so they do pretty good.
Well, as long as they've given you more than you've given them, then it's a win, right?
That's the thing, you know. I mean, and it gets away from you too. You know, over the years, the numbers stack up staggeringly, where you're just spending thousands in payouts and different indicators and different, gurus that you follow,
Yeah.
just to spend thousands to make a couple $100 payout.
Yeah. Yeah. Like I always said, I think prop firms are a great middle ground. It's not necessarily if you pass, it doesn't mean that you're a pro trader, but it's something that you can take a little bit more seriously than paper trading. And then you know what I mean, and you got a bit of skin in the game, but not like you're not like got like a 5 or 10 grand account that you're trading. So they're a really good middle ground there, and that's how I think they should be used the most. But yeah, I mean, once you prove yourself, then you make enough to do a cash account if you want, or if you're happy with if your strategy works with a prop firm, then stick with that, and you're always low risk, right? As soon as they've given you more than you've given them on your accounts, then you got no risk on the table, right? Even if you blow them all up, you still after you pay for it all, and you know what I mean. You got no risk, so you're risking nothing to make something. So it can be a really good risk reward using them if the rules fit you, right? If you're a swing trader, obviously prop firm rules aren't for you. They really try to focus on short term trading, which is generally a little bit more difficult than swing trading, but it can be done too. The risk is different, right? You don't have overnight risk when you're day trading, so it's different risk. But anyways, so that's good. And then yeah, so this week we're gonna have a friend of ours. You may recognize him from the Discord. Streams probably every single day, as far as I know, and on the weekends. Does more market replay than anybody I know besides myself, but I don't do so much these days. Just working on some stuff in the background. But we have Richard, aka Slothfather. He's coming in to do some news with us. So, Richard, how are you today?
Doing good, guys. Doing good. Excited to be here. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, I mean, hey, we're happy to have you. So, Richard offered to do the news part of it. So, yeah, let us know what's going on in the markets. What do you have?
Then we'll jump right into it. The government shutdown's still going. Uh, I think at this point we need to just make a pool in the Discord and start betting on when the Democrats are going to fold and open government.
Yeah, start making bets on it, eh? What do they shut down for exactly? I'm not up to tune. I'm
Well,
not even in the states.
yeah, the biggest issue, if you just look at the facts instead of the talking points on both sides, the Republicans put forth a clean CR bill, which just means continue the spending at current levels to give themselves more time to get the appropriations done for the 12 appropriation bills that actually make up the budget.
Okay.
Um, the Democrats decided they wanted to put in some provisions into the CR that would increase this federal spending, and Republicans just aren't going to have any of that. So, with the Republicans being in control of the House and the Senate, they're just they're going to hold the Democrats' feet to the fire until the Democrats fold here. Um, and it's only going to take about 6 or 7 Democrats to cross the line to get the government reopened. But until then, we have no news from the federal government, so the markets are running kind of blind when it comes to job reports and stuff like that.
Okay, so
Uh,
that's why the market was kind of thin there, except for Friday. Now,
yeah,
was
Friday,
it a tweet
Friday,
that caused that, or what was the deal there?
folks. If you don't keep Truth Social up on your computer when you're trading, you need to,
Yes.
because the moment Trump put out his tweet about what China did, the market dumped, and you all saw it. The YM went down 1,500 points. Um, so basically, China has started imposing some export controls on rare earth minerals.
Okay.
And they're not just doing it to the US, they're doing it to the entire world. They sent letters out to every leader of just about every country. Um, and so Trump decided to push back on that. And he is putting into place an extra 100% tariffs on all Chinese goods effective November 1st. So he's giving them a little bit of time to back off before he really puts the screws to them. He is also going to be putting on some export controls from us to China on any and all critical software that they purchase from us.
Okay.
So he's basically going to shut down our software uh, to them. So that's now, whether that actually scares the market or not, I'm not sure. I think it gave them a really good reason to do something in the market, which I'll show you later when we get to talking about the market. But that's pretty much the news. We'll see if China does that, backs off on that.
Yeah.
That's the overall market picture. But next week, we are kicking off, you mentioned it earlier, earning statements. Um, so this will be the real truth of whether or not China's the biggest scare, or if good earnings reports are going to move the markets back up. Because Monday we have J.P. Morgan in the pre-market, Wells Fargo in the pre-market, and Johnson and Johnson is supposed to report, but they have not set a time yet. So the Dow and the ES are going to be affected the most on Monday. And then on Tuesday, we have ASML, which is a semiconductor materials and equipment company, which is going to be greatly affected in the coming months with what China did if
Oh
China
yeah.
doesn't back off.
Hmm.
And we have Bank of America and Morgan Stanley. All of those are in the pre market on Tuesday, and that will affect mostly the NQES. And the rest of the week is clear of earnings, nothing else until the week after.
Okay.
So that's your news for the day.
Um, how does the government shutdown affect these news reports? Are they still gonna? Are the earnings reports still coming out? They're done by the companies, right?
The,
So it shouldn't affect that.
right. The earnings reports will still be coming out, and I will be posting those in the Discord daily. If they're
Okay.
coming out in pre-market, I will post them the day before.
And are we sure? Are we unsure about the jobs reports and unemployment? Is that news still coming out,
Yeah,
or is that going to be on hold? Do you know?
the Bureau of Labor Statistics is closed until the government reopens, so they will
Okay.
not be putting out any reports until the government reopens.
Okay. So we're going to see
They
if
said
this.
that CPI was rescheduled to the 24th, I believe. So they're keep on pushing it out.
That's interesting, eh? Because it's not a secret. There's some people that know what it is already, right? So it might be. What do you think? I mean, the economy's been pretty good this year, better than last year. Do you think you guys live in the states? You're in the thick of it, but from what I see from Canada, I think it looks like things are kind of starting to get a little bit better down there than they were last year as far as economic growth. What are your guys' outlook on this year, like how it went and where you guys are sitting from, starting from January to now with your new president as well?
Greg?
Well, I know from, like, say, let's look for the trucking industry. This is my industry, this is my job, and I think it also affects, freight moving around the world. Some of the things that he's implemented have really helped our industry specifically because, yeah, this time last year, we've had severe rate decreases. We've had nothing but cost expenses going up and rates decreasing. So we're not making as much, but we're spending more to make less. And I think that's happened pretty much, I think, platform wide with anybody's major blue collar jobs. So I think some of the things that he's trying to implement have started to help us to where prices are still high. Inflation is still high, but I think finally in some of these sectors, especially the transportation sector, it's really helping us because we're starting to see better control over these non-domiciled CDL holders, which that's a big proponent of where our rate cuts are coming from. That's driving our rates up. We're making more money finally, and prices are finally starting to stabilize. Fuel isn't so crazy and out of bounds.
Yeah.
We're getting some better control over that now. And I think just job wages, overall are finally starting to
Yeah.
stabilize quite a bit.
I think inflation's gone down too, has it? Like I know they report inflation, but it's kind of like BS too, right? You really got to know, you really got to go to the store and look at the price of bread, or go to the station and look at the price of gas if you really want to know where inflation is and where it's going. So I think fuel has come down a lot too, has it not?
Yeah, our fuel costs have
Mm-hmm.
gone down quite a bit. I mean, you still have to, do your discounts or whatnot, but even the price at the pump, I think, is a
Yeah,
lot more stable than it
because I
was
think
last year when one week it could be this price, the next week it could be 30%
yeah, it's
different.
more stable. Maybe you guys have reserves. I remember hearing your last president just got rid of all the oil reserves, which was kind of odd to me, but I'm sure that didn't help stabilize prices either. So, anyways, um, so yeah, good enough. What are you looking at for levels in the market there, Richard? Do you have anything?
Yeah, I can pull up my charts if you want me to.
Yeah, go ahead. We can see them.
Here we go. All right. Well, this is the daily chart on the YM. I'm a YM trader, so I pay most attention to this market.
Yep.
Um, I'll let you guys take care of ES and the NQ. Um, so on the daily level, when we got our last push up from sweeping daily lows, we've just been on a run the entire time. But that created this really big daily order block here. And on the run up, uh, the only fair value gap we had got rebalanced here around the 45, 550 area, which left this order or this fair value gap down here running from about 758 to 45,089. That's the only open fair value gap that's left. And inside that fair value gap, we have a little bit of a balanced price range there. What I pay attention to the most, number one, is where's the midline of that order block, and I have that marked out here with the pink line, and it's broken down into quarters for the order block. Um, on top of that, there's a couple of things I want to add to show you why I'm looking, and my levels that I'm looking at is right at the 50% of this order block, and this is why. I'm going to throw a fib up on um, the entire swing from swing low to swing high on the daily chart,
Mm-hmm.
and you're going to see where the 25% line ends up, right around the same area. Okay. Um, and that's huge because I don't expect this big of a swing to come back to 50%. I think if it did, we could be in a little bit of trouble. Um, but the 25% of this big swing, the 50% of the order block, uh, and this fair value gap is all lining up at the same place along with the daily 200 SMA. So should we get down into this area, and we may not because we've just bounced where we bounced before, but the way I look at the markets, when we make a double bottom or double top, and there's a fair value gap on the other side of that double bottom or double top, that is the market engineering liquidity. And eventually we're going to come down and take that liquidity and rebalance that fair value gap. And that is the area I want to start looking for longs. So the market may be shaky back and forth because of the big swing we had on Friday.
Yeah.
It may go up and down quite a bit till we get there, but when we get down there, uh, around that 44,750 area, I'm certainly going to be looking for a bounce to go back to the high side.
Yeah, okay. So you're looking for a little bit more downside on the YM there. I see that. And yeah, I do think there's going to be an initial rebalance right now as it's happening right now and maybe into the first couple of days of this week depending on earnings. And then if it wants to take its next leg down, yeah, I do kind of see a little bit more downside for a while just because we had such a long run, such a nice little bull run there from lows. And I do see a bit of fear going into this week after Friday. People are going to be saying, "Shit, just get me out. I don't want to ride this down again." I made good this year. A lot of people would have hit lows there in
Oh,
April, May, and
yes.
yeah, that would scare a lot of people this week. And they're going to be calling their brokers this weekend, going, "Hey, just get me out Monday morning. Fuck it, I'm good for the year."
So also what I did is I pull a fib from the last run up um, back from 8/1 of 2025.
Yep.
Um, and if I pull that fib, our golden pocket is sitting right there at that fair value gap.
Yeah, from the last major pivot there on the daily, I see that. Yeah, that's a good
Hmm.
spot.
So I'm going to be a little cautious till we get down there, but once we get down there, I'm going to be a little bit more aggressive on longs.
So, would you say you have a short bias coming into this week, or would you be a little bit long early in the week and then short? Are you thinking it's going to retrace before
I
we make
want to,
a new leg down?
yeah, I want to see what the earnings do on Monday and see if that affects the market at all.
Yeah,
If we do get a push up, I would like that because that gives me a little bit more confidence when it reverses to come down to the levels, and I have a bigger range to be able to trade to the downside.
yeah,
Um, so yeah, I think the first 2 days of the week with earnings might push the market back up a little bit. Maybe get into the 7-0 of the golden pocket of the down, complete down move, and then see where we go from there.
yeah. That's looking good. So,
I also think that the earnings that we're seeing too that's coming out this week, there are a lot of financial stocks that are hitting it too. So I think that we're going to see a lot more movement on, those classic stocks, like what Richard trades YM. A
yeah.
lot of that's going to, I think,
When
have a lot more effect than the tech stocks.
when are we getting into the FANG stocks? The Facebook, Apple, Amazon, Netflix, Google. When are those earnings coming? It'll be a couple weeks yet, eh?
Yeah,
Yeah, they are. You got them.
yeah. Well, go ahead. You have the better sense of the earnings than I do. The only one that I've seen was like Oracle and Chewy coming out on the 15th and the 22nd. But go for it.
Yeah, Nvidia's 1119, Apple's 1030, Microsoft 1029, Google 1029, Amazon 1028, Meta 1029. So the 28th
Okay.
and the 29th are going to be huge.
Yeah, so getting
And
a
then
little bit towards the end of the
Nvidia,
month.
yeah, and then Nvidia in November, which
Okay.
obviously is the biggest market cap in the business at the moment.
Yeah, so it looks like we've probably had our October highs, and I would be surprised if we make new highs in October. Well, up until the end of October, and then we'll see what happens. Depends on how low we get before we get there. But yeah, just looking at some levels on the NQ, the daily, you can see where it come down on Friday. So we had this nice trend line, and same thing on ES. It was just a nice bull market, your standard trend. But look at where it comes down to here as well. It basically just wicked that resistance right there and it come back up. So I would I do see more downside, but if we didn't, that would be a good place for it to bounce. You just wouldn't expect that to be a 1 day move, but it was. But that's how these moves are sometimes. They're just an excuse to get liquidity. But same thing on the ES. We had this nice, double top, this high congestion area, and it wicked right down there and come back up. So we'll see what
That's a
happens.
great support level. Yeah, that's a great potential support level.
Yeah, so I mean, if I was looking at the daily and when I was looking at normal size candles, I would say, okay, yeah, once it gets down to there, there's going to be, that's why it wicked up the way it did, because there's a lot of resting buy orders, right? We come down how much percent, there's people always sitting at a percentage, right? The long term players, they always have orders at a 10% drawdown, 15% drawdown. So I think if I go volume bars, I don't know the tool to get percentage, but yeah, if you looked at the percentage, it would probably be, what's the percentage from highs to Friday lows? High of the day to low of the day. Oh well, it don't matter. But anyways, so that's the ES, and then also RTY. Basically the same thing. Look at this. Right before that large dump at the start of the year in February and March, that's exactly where RTY come down to. And RTY still hasn't broke all-time highs. Still hasn't. We had the YM do it not too long ago. It was slow, late to the party, but RTY hasn't yet. So, I mean, that tells us when RTY isn't breaking highs, or it's not leading the way, or it's not, partnered up with the NQ as much as you would expect it to, it means that the risk appetite in the market's kind of low. Because if it was a high risk appetite, like people were really, willing to take on risk, this would have broke highs. Small caps will always tell you where most of the investors are, and you know what I mean. If it's not in RTY, taking high risk, they've got it in lower risk things. So, yeah, that's that. But then also, gold, looks like it's gonna be breaking up to new highs as well. So it's funny that gold come down on Friday as well. And then we see oil just chopping along. We want oil to go down. We always want the price of oil to go down. At least
It really helps with inflation.
It helps everything. I mean, that's the whole source of inflation. Everything's made from oil. Plastic bags, truckers, everything. Driving, freight. So, yeah, that's where we are in the markets there. And it's everything's up. Everything gapped up for Sunday. So, and it's up a lot. So we'll see what happens coming into Monday. Like I said, the volatility is probably going to be up. If you bring up the VIX charts, I don't even know if the VIX is up right now, but if it's open and you can get to the VIX futures, then it's probably going to be obviously really high. So options premium is going to be really good.
Yeah, this move up is about a little bit over 2.5% just on this move up on the market open on Sunday.
Okay, so then that move down was like a good 10%. You know what I mean? There's resting orders. There's always resting orders following the market. A 10% pullback, 15% pullback. That's where you get in, right?
Yeah, we had right at a 5% total drop from where Friday's high was, where it peaked up at, and then where it went all the way down to right at 5%. That's just crazy.
5%.
We're
yeah.
Also,
okay. Yeah, that makes sense. Because that's where you load and buy the dip. You know what I mean? Buy and hold. Buy and hold.
Yeah.
So every time it goes down a certain percentage, you just buy it and hold. So that's that. Okay. What else we got going on, Greg?
Well, I think we always like to try to talk about trader mindset. When we're talking about market conditions like this, I think some of the most important factors to kind of keep in play at is look at your levels, do your research, put yourself on a 15-minute time frame, and kind of scroll back and see what happened. Where did these numbers come from? Because they don't usually come from nowhere. They don't come from just whatever's made up. There's usually some kind of level, some kind of a significant move back in the day, whether it's a week ago or a month ago, that came from. So that's where all those orders kind of came from to begin with. So if you can just kind of zoom out a little bit, see where you're at in the grand scheme of things, that way when you're trading your 2-minute charts, your 1-minute charts, you have a little bit more confidence of knowing, hey, this big move that we just had was a 5% move down. We're about 2.5% up from the market open on Asia. That's the 50% line. Keep that in mind. That's an important number. If we break over that number, we could be completely recovering and go all the way back where we dropped out on Friday. But if we don't, we could see some continuation on the downside. It's just, again, trader mindset. That's an important thing to remember.
Yeah, that's something I always took a real fancy to, was just I would spend a lot of time preparing before I would trade. I would be at the computer for 3-4 hours when I was doing just that full time before I started doing a lot of coding. And yeah, daily levels and 4-hour levels. I had them. Whatever one was nearby, I made sure I had the nearby ones just to have there. I mean, it's so important, especially daily levels. I mean, there's people that just sit there and they'll wait 2, 3, 4 weeks to get their daily level entry, right? You got to realize there's a lot of people playing the long game in the markets, and this is how they do it. The daily chart for sure, and the 4-hour. And if they don't get the price, then they don't get in. And it's just that. If they don't get the right price, they'll put their money somewhere else, not in the stock market, right? They'll put it anywhere else, gold, whatever. They've got other investments, who knows? But yeah, so that's why they're so important, these levels.
Yeah, and I know when I remember kind of learning about the if then that theory of trading, and that's an important aspect. You need to have in mind, okay, if this happens, this is going to be your reaction. This is going to be how you go about trading it. If this happens, the other part of it, if it breaks down, okay, great. Now we're going to look for confirmations. We're going to look for the key level that it's broken. Look for that bearish, activity. Look for those bearish signals, and then that's how you're going to trade it. That if then that, I think, is an important aspect of really learning how to trade. Let that market develop and tell you what it's going to do. Don't guess it. It'll tell you what it's going to do if you just give it time to tell you.
Yeah, that's it. It's just about being patient and finding the right spots. And yeah, that's one way to stay out of chop too. I mean, if you just always waited to trade around a daily level, yeah, I mean it could chop at daily levels because indecisions, but it's generally gonna it'll find a direction sooner than later from
Wait for
some of
that
those
boom
levels.
candle. Let
Yeah,
that boom candle lead the way out of consolidation, man. That's it.
especially on first touch there. So, yeah, and I mean I've been really happy with the group lately. Um, I've seen a lot of people kind of taking the tools and making it their own. They take some of the indicators that we have and that are available, and they're using the tools to kind of develop their own way. They're carve their own path through the market, and really that's what it's been about from the beginning. It was never about providing somebody with a cookie cutter bot like a lot of groups do. Our thing is offering tools to develop yourself, automation, semi-automation, full automation, creating your own signals, signal generation, right? Instead of coding your own signals, we have tools where you just click a couple buttons and you can create your own signals combining different indicators. And I've just been really happy going through the group, seeing people actually doing this. I see charts that are different. One person has a chart that looks totally different than another person, and they're all doing their testing, getting different results. And yeah, I'm just really happy to see it kind of going in that direction because at the end of the day, like it's just there's nothing worse than trying to follow somebody, and it's not even you'll never be confident following somebody. You'll always be much more confident when you take the time and you trust what you're doing because you've spent the time to trust it and you've tested it and you know what the results are and you know what a winning trade looks like and feels like rather than blindly following somebody because that'll never work. That's like, in the long term, you'll never trust that. So it's kind of just like I don't know, it's like a shortcut trying to follow somebody. So I'm really happy to see people kind of using the tools as they're intended to create their own thing, carve their own path. And yeah, I just wanted to mention that. And yeah, I'm
I'd
just
love
really
to
happy.
touch on that. I'd
Go
love to
ahead.
touch on that, Doug.
Yeah.
Um, because for quite a while, I've just used the indicators that you guys have already made. I still have my own indicators that I use.
Yeah.
Um, but just recently, I decided to go ahead and take a label from one of my indicators that you guys don't have yet in your system and pull the label name up, put it in generator, create my own signal, and start letting the bot test it. Now, I don't have the results of that yet. I'm still working on the back testing, but I'll definitely put those out when I get them. So I think it's absolutely fantastic that, like you said, I think a lot of people came in thinking, well, we have to use their indicator set along with the bot and not realizing that no, this is built where you can put it to any system, any indicator that fits your trading style, whether it's a GammaX indicator or not. It's very, very versatile in that way, and I appreciate it.
Yeah, and that's the idea. I mean, it's not we just provide indicators just because it's stuff that we've used or I have a simple one called super moving average and it'll throw up signals and all it is it's just a moving average but it throws up signals so you can automate it but that's that was only just to give some people a platform to start with. I mean, it's intended to be used with any indicator. If you go well, if you're all right with coding, you can code up your own simple little indicator. Use Grok or use whatever, and go in there. And yeah, you're gonna get a couple errors on NinjaTrader, but you gotta work through them. And eventually, you can get AI to make you stuff if you stick to it for a little while. So yeah, I mean, I encourage some people, if you have an idea, try it out. Get it to make a
You know,
signal, take the name, and make your own thing out of it. And the bot will trade it. That's the great thing about it. It's universal. It's not like, one thing or
I
another.
made I made my first indicator over the weekend because Sam I am asked about kind of getting something to help stay out of chop because she's had some issues with the bot getting into some false signals because that does happen when you're in chop. And I literally went and I said, okay, well let me come up with an idea what I think might work, and I actually asked AI, hey, what would help us stay out of a chop in this type of situation? Then it literally spit out the code. I think it took 3 iterations. I ran it into Ninja Script Editor again for the first time I've created an indicator. I do mainly websites and backend development. I don't indicators have always been your thing, but I'm like, you're busy. Let me try this. It was a request from one of our customers, so let's try it. And literally on the third try, I got it to respond. I didn't quite like the way that it looked. I asked it to make a couple of changes. I think it literally took me 5 total tries of just saying, hey, I got these errors. Can you help me resolve them? Sure enough, it did. Indicator loaded instantly, and I got pretty much what I asked for. You can do that. It's not completely difficult.
No, it's not. I mean, you just put a little bit of work into it, and you can get it done. And you showed me that. I was actually pretty impressed with it. I know before you've tried, and you're like, oh, I keep getting errors, man. I said, well, the only reason you keep getting errors is because you didn't stick with it long enough to get past the errors. But, I mean, at this time, I think it worked out pretty good with only 5 iterations. But, yeah, I mean, I've done stuff for 10, 15 and iterations just to get it working. But, yeah, I just wanted to bring this up here. This is called Ninjaco, and they have like a sister site too. It's called, I don't know. Their advertising's a little bit weird. They're kind of like, I don't know, not scammy, but they're kind of like, it's really weird the way they advertise. But the thing is, they have a lot of good products, and a lot of them are automatable out of the box for NinjaTrader. These are all NinjaTrader things, and I have a couple of their indicators. And they actually have a program where it's called Trade In. So because they email me, right? So they give you, so if you have an indicator, you can trade it in and get a different indicator. So it's kind of a cool little thing, eh? That you can do that. So I know it's kind of expensive, but if you go on their YouTube, you can see what they do and how they make stuff and everything like that. So they got a bunch of videos on this super jump boost. So anyways, I don't know. It's mostly, a lot of it's Renko based. But yeah, I mean, they got a lot of really cool tools, and a lot of them, anything that throws a signal from Ninjaco, we can automate. I don't know if I can find one, but they cost enough. But you can get deals too. Hey, you talk to these people and say, hey, I only want to pay $150, or give me 2 for whatever. You can make deals with them, and they have ones that are free. And let me just see them here. If they're 40 free indicators. So a lot of them are good. Like, for example, Richard, you were asking about the countdown thing on my stream the one day. It was a Ninjaco indicator, and it was one of their free ones.
I went and picked it up.
Did you? Okay, yeah. So it's kind of it's a bar counter. It shows other things too, not just the bar countdown. But yeah, look, these are all free. Zigzag. This is a moving average, price levels, trading times. NinjaTrader has this built in automatically now to shade, like, the Asian session, the New York. Line reg, if you ever heard of line regression or linear regression. So what this is it puts the linear regression line on there. It's like a moving average, but you might just go look that up. Go on YouTube, type in linear regression trading or something. It'll tell you what it is. But yeah, so basically it just colors the candles based on the line linear regression moving average. And yeah, I mean, these are all free. Here it is, bar status. That's the one, right? And it just shows you like a little countdown, completely free. The only thing is you got to give them your email and they'll spam your email, but whatever, big deal. So
Because for the life of me, I cannot figure out why NinjaTrader does not have a bar countdown.
You know why? Okay. So a lot of people say, some people say NinjaTrader is a little bit archaic, a little bit older. You wonder what it is. Part of it is because they give developers a platform to develop stuff on. And if they go in and they do a bunch of stuff themselves, they're going to start cutting developers out of the deal. You know what I mean? Like, NinjaTrader could make all these. But what would be the incentive for developers to develop on their platform if they find out a month later now NinjaTrader just did what they did and they included it? So that's why you'll notice, like, kind of out of the box, NinjaTrader, it does have a lot of indicators out of the box, but not necessarily as much as you'd expect. And it's for reasons like this, because, developers develop it on the platform already, right? So, and, they're more focused on, other things with the platform than there. So that is part of the reason is they don't want to scare off their developers, because there's a lot of big developers for NinjaTrader. So.
Yeah, fair enough. I can see that.
Yeah, I mean they do have order blocks now. It took them a long time, and they were careful with it. But they do include an order block indicator free with NinjaTrader. But that's what it is. It's about not scaring off developers like this that have created 3, 4, 500 indicators for their platform. So, 40 of them are just free. So I mean, you can see. Oh, here it is. Renko Kings, sister brands. I don't know. Like, it's kind of like weird. It doesn't even show up right. But anyways, yeah, I won't go on about that. I just wanted to mention that, there are other sources for indicators, and if you can find free ones or whatever, and it puts up a signal on the chart, there's a good chance that it's automatable, right? We know all you need is a chart object in the objects menu, and then it's tradable in most cases. Sometimes it's set up in a way that's not recognized by the bot, and if there is, just contact us or contact me, and I'll show you how to make it work, or I'll update the bot to make it work. I think one guy, Holy, it was something to do with multi-stochastics indicator. I forget, it's not important. But anyways, the way the signals were structured, it was a little bit weird, and the bot wouldn't necessarily recognize it. So I went ahead and I fixed that for him since he had the raw code. And yeah, I made it so it was automatable, and I just sent him back the code, and that's that. I mean, I do that sometimes, and I didn't charge nothing, of course, right? But, sometimes we can do that in some cases if it's not too hard of a job, and it's an indicator, and you have the code, or it's open source. We can modify it to make it work with the bot as well. So, yeah, very important that, I love that people find their own way. I love seeing what people are trying. So yeah, I mean that's part of the whole community is just kind of carving your own path and finding your own thing. So yeah, I'm really happy about that. How we're kind of leaning towards that in the group.
And like you said too, we're a small community. We're also a small business as well too. So if there's something that we can do, there's something we can modify. We've done this several times already. When somebody wanted to do, bar color changeover, hey, no problem. We can add that to an update on Riptide, or like somebody asked for, something to help with Chop. Okay, great. I can take and spend a couple of hours over the weekend and knock something like that out and get it out to everybody. If we can do it, because of how small of a community we are and how just in touch we are with what everybody's needing, we're able to do that. And you're not going to find that in a lot of these bigger communities that have such a huge percentage of the market share of what they're trying to do. You're never going to really be able to get that. They might eventually get to it, but we could pretty much give you almost an instant response and get something out to you. Get it
Yeah.
updated.
I'm going to testify here for a second.
Testify.
Look, Doug is a super busy person with all the coding he's doing, and I understand that. And I really hate to bother him for anything at all. Okay, and I'm not a part of the company. I'm just one of the traders in there. So when there's little things that I think might be really simple, I throw a question over to Doug. And it's like, hey, is there any way, when you have time, can you get this done? If it's simple, if it's not, don't worry about it. I can do a workaround. And there's been at least 2 to 3 times where I've done that. And within 5 minutes, he sends me a file done. I'm like, dude, don't stop what you're doing. But yeah, I mean that's how responsive you guys are, and it's amazing. And again, it's not a huge community. There's quite a few people in there though, and but you guys are super responsive to the people that are doing your working with your products.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's important to us, especially for guys like you, Richard. I mean, you're in there every day posting, streaming, like, when you ask me for, something, I have to say yes. There's no way around it, right? I mean, it's my obligation. But yeah, that's the great thing about being in the group. We are small at the moment because we're not trying to grow too fast either, right? We want to make sure we got all our ducks in a row before we go out and start, trying to tell the world about everything. And and part of it is letting the community decide. I mean, we offer a little bit of a platform, but the way I see it is more like a foundation. We offer a bit of a foundation with some tools, and we're going to get a little bit more education on stuff that we've learned, and we've got some indicators. But then it's up to the community to decide where to go from there, and the suggestions from everybody. Because at the end of the day, it's not about what we want; it's about what you guys need. We're not here selling our strategy. Oh, this is how I made $1,000 a day. We're not doing that, because you know what? Even if we did, it just doesn't work for everybody. Everybody has different schedules. Everybody sees the market differently. Everybody has different risk tolerance. So it's really hard to say, hey, do this cookie cutter thing and you're going to get the exact same results. It's just not realistic. So that's why we like to give instead we're giving people a foundation where they can build their house on, rather than giving them the keys to the house. So that is the real keys to the kingdom, as I would say, is giving you the tools and the supplies you need to build the house, rather than just giving you the complete house. Because, one house isn't going to work for everybody, if that makes sense.
Yeah, and I mean that again. Like I said, our community, we might be pretty big, growing wise, what we're doing. I mean, look at how quickly I think people kind of liked what we were trying to do. I think they liked our goals, and I think we've been pretty kind of like direct in, look, this is not a magic button to print $1,000 a day, but if you're willing to put in the time and the effort, we're darn sure going to help you get that way. But you're going to do it yourself. You're going to understand why our indicators are printing a shift signal or continuation signal. You're going to understand how the bot works, what it's looking for, and how to create those custom signals. And is it a little bit to learn? Absolutely. Anything new is a little bit to learn, but you get past that, I think pretty short learning curve, and you start kind of playing around with the system. I think a lot of people, if they just put a little bit of effort into it, have done really well. That's something I love about, I think, this community and the traders that we're trying to attract. We want those kind of people, and I think we got them.
Yeah, that's what I like. A bunch of people that are happy to carve their own path, rather than try to just a bunch of followers. You know what I mean? I've always been like that. I'm always happy to discuss different ideas, and I never said I was the best at anything or whatever. Some people are like that, eh? They don't want you coming in and going, oh, I got this, I got that. No, get out of here. That's what they say. But yeah, not us. I really support what other people are doing, and yeah, I spend a lot of time just showing people stuff, helping people. I've had people ask me, I'm looking for an indicator to, see where there's a lot of volume or this or that. So, so I'm really happy with the community. So, anyways, Greg, if do you have anything else on your schedule there?
Yeah, I wanted to kind of show a few people what we can use and how we use AI to kind of make our improvements. And this is just a very simple prompt, something that I made on Claude because I like the way they do their market analysis. And I literally just said, hey, can you give me a market with a skill technical analysis? You're kind of trying to tell the AI you are a skill technical analyst, so this is what you're going to be good at. And it kind of helps prepare the prompt for the next version of it. So then I just want to see, major levels. I want to see any latest financial news and global news that's going to affect the market. And then literally it spits out this. And it takes and it runs all the latest news. It runs a full technical analysis, gives you a chart, and lets you know exactly where we're at in the market, what we're looking for. Again, these are just major levels and major things to kind of give you an idea of what's coming out with any of the CPI, any of the economic news, anything that's affected by just major headlines. And it kind of tells you, hey, here's where we're going. Here's the risk factors. You could literally run this every single morning if you guys wanted to, and you can literally see what's going to happen in the market, why and what is affecting the market, what's good about the market, what's bad about the market, and what we can expect to happen. So
So this
this
is
is,
on our
again,
trader dashboard, right?
yeah, something that we added to the trader dashboard is just this right here exactly. It is something that we added market signals, we added headlines. We're able to weigh actually all these instances right in here to where it takes our technical analysis on the candlestick data, our key levels. That puts a little bit better emphasis on the TA, but then it also takes all of our market news, the red folder news, the economic events that are coming up, scores everything, and it puts it into an entire just roundabout. Here's your chart. You're able to see all of the assets that we trade and get a good picture of just what's happening in the market, this news that's coming up. And that's a pretty big workflow, believe it or not. I mean, with what just to drive these two little cards that used to be just a static card when we first started building the trader dashboard, these are now live active cards that are pulling this data for you guys and
Yeah.
just give you a
Look,
quick insight overview of what's happening in the
click
market.
click on the Trump tariff bomb, extreme impact. Okay, what happens when you click on it? Can you click on it, or does it bring up?
I don't know. I don't think you can click on it. There might be an article down here that had it on there too, though. But I mean,
Okay.
he was literally that absolutely killed the market. If you look at like what happened, look at Friday where we just went absolutely at the end of the day when he released that, we just, I mean, went and fell off the face of the earth. But again, look at when you zoom out a little bit. This is a 15-minute chart here. All these levels came from, I mean, way back in October. If you look back again where that move came from, okay, this came back all the way from September, and that's where these levels kind of originate from. So it's not a random level. These aren't random numbers and where they're coming from. These are true levels that are now coming and being retested again. This is a quick V-shaped recovery. So,
Yeah.
I mean, if we can break past this 50% level right here, we're going to recover every single bit of that. That's that if, then, or that. But if we start getting consolidated here through the Asia market, and we start losing steam on the more drilled in chart, okay, well then we can start expecting to see some failure patterns of coming up here. Wait for that big boom candle to the downside, and we can start just having a normal retracement to the downside levels again.
Yeah. Yeah. We'll see what happens. I think we're gonna come up to that golden zone before we drop anymore, just from the
Yeah.
recent high. But yeah. So I really like what you did there with the trader dashboard. I think that's really cool. Um, do you have any plans to build on that?
I do actually. My goal here in the near
Can you show
future,
it?
I'm about to the end of my truck driving career. I've got a couple months left on this contract, and then I
Yeah.
am absolutely done.
Can you bring up the
And
dashboard there real quick on your?
I can on this PC. If you want to bring it up on yours, you're able to mess around with it, navigate, and I can walk you through it. I don't know
Okay.
why on this PC it is completely broken. But if
Okay.
you want to bring up your screen, but what I intend on doing with the trader dashboard is to start piping in a full AI workflow. And I'm talking about bringing in multiple AIs that have data coming in, all this candlestick data, another AI bringing in new sediment, and then taking and then cleaning up that data, running it through another set of AI engines and nodes. And it's just going to start reprocessing this with what this has here. And I still think it's a pretty complex system of how it's pulling in all the symbols, it's taking in all the technical data, it's giving you all your key levels, your session levels, just right from our trader dashboard. My goal would be to take and pipe that and just soup it up 100 times to where we're really going to be able to not only analyze these major signals, but I want to make it to where you can take a screenshot of your chart and it's going to tell you exactly what's going to happen with it because it's able to analyze your entire chart with literally probably about 20 to 50 different nodes that's working in the background, coming up with these levels, these insights, the market news that is affecting your asset, and give you a really good, clear, concise answer of what's going on. But I think we've come a long way just in, again, what we're building. These were cards that were completely irrelevant. They were just placeholder cards a couple days ago. So I think we're always adding value to what we're building here.
Yeah. Yeah. And definitely everything that we do add, we have to say is there's no upselling. It's one price, and it's always going to be like that. Maybe our prices will go up in the future, but there's no nickel and diming. You pay your one price, and whatever else we come out with, whatever new updates we do, or anything that we add, like you were saying, having the AI there read, screenshots.
Yeah, like you can
You know,
click on the charts and let the pop up come up
right here.
under market signals. Yeah, just click on it. And now you can see the different charts that you can pull up now, YM, and this is every one of the charts. It's based on candlestick data showing you session levels. It's showing you your overall levels from the last like 20 highs and 20 lows. That's pulling some pretty intelligent data. I mean, again, this is something we're just now building. This just came out over the weekend, so we've obviously got a lot of growing to do. But for what we're able to do to get it out for everybody, this doesn't cost anybody anything. We're not charging an extra fee for them to access this. This is all included in the original subscription fee. And as we build it and grow it and let it do a little better, it's going to get better. And again, we're not
Yeah.
upselling or charging or adding a fee for it.
And just like anything else in the group, if anybody has any suggestions or they say, hey, maybe this would look good or maybe that would be nice, obviously let us know, and we'll consider it and probably add it in. Right, that's what it's about. So yeah, you just tell us where you want it to go.
Yep,
But yeah,
that's
so
the
look at
idea.
that. We got the news here. What does it do? Analyze it. Oh, look at that. Oh, that's
This
pretty
will give
cool.
you a score based on the total news now. So, like, obviously, it's going to read some of the keywords like, rise, increase, demand, slippage. So, it's going to take some of these
Okay.
keywords from the
So
top
AI
articles
is
for it.
taking news articles and it's scoring the impact of the news articles. Is that what's going on? Because
Yep,
I haven't even
that's
played with it. I'll
exactly
be
right.
honest. I know you showed me it, but I haven't actually got the time to get
Yeah.
on here and do that.
And then when you X out of that, you're going to be able to see on the top right hand corner where you start to see the actual what is it called? The combined market sentiment. That's exactly what it's looking at. It's taking and scoring the technical analysis, weighing it by 70%, taking the total news and those keywords and scoring them roughly about 30%, giving you an overall sentiment of the entire market. So
Yeah,
this
and
is
it's saying
AI.
83% bearish,
Yeah.
47%. And
I mean,
FOMC. Oh, here we go. Red folder economic events,
yep.
medium,
Red
high.
folder news. Yep. Those are live and
I
those
mean,
are,
that's
again,
handy
those
as
get
heck.
updated every 15 minutes.
That's handy as heck. Yeah, I
Yeah.
really like that. So that's cool. And then we got our market data here. This is replay data. We don't have it fully done yet, but I think we have ES, NQ, and maybe YM for 11 years
Yeah.
back for market
You can
replay.
download literally years worth of data right there at your fingertips.
It's
I mean,
just on our Google Drive. We're still
yeah.
updating it. It's a couple of terabytes, so it'll be there for a while. It'll take a while to load up, but yeah, okay, yeah, that was pretty cool. I really like that dashboard that you added in there.
Yeah, and it's just the beginning. We've got so many good ideas and things that we want to add and bring into not only our product in the website, but of course, our Ninja Trader product as well too. So that's what we're looking to do.
Yeah, and why don't I bring up your indicator that you made
Oh yeah,
just just to show it? Um, yeah, okay, here I'll just share it here. So very basic. You can't see the text because my background is the same color as the text. So I think really quickly I can change the background. And how do I do that? Background, chart background. I'll just make it like a. Will it let me do gradient brush? Okay, yeah, not that that's awesome, but go low. So you've got what do you got? Composite, no go, ATR, ADX, CCI, Bollinger Band width, RSI, and basically this is the start. I think we still have to refine it, but this is the chop indicator. So basically, when it's green, that means it's go. When it's yellow, it could be in the middle, and then when it's red, we're definitely in chop. So, um, yeah, I really liked it, and so far I can see it working out. I mean, you would have saw. Friday's not a good example to be honest, because of course that's trending, right? It went green as soon as that first candle went, but it would have been good. But yeah, so this is what you made with AI, and it was your first script. And yeah, I mean, we could make it better, but as far as how it works, it actually works pretty well. But the settings are all adjustable, so this is where it's going to really shine, is because we got the green threshold, the red threshold, all the weights. You can weight the ATR, the ADX, the CCI. Like, I'm really impressed with this, Greg, to be honest. So maybe we'll get you doing that a little bit more, and I don't know what I'll do. I'll
yeah.
just be on the beach sipping coconut water or something like
that's
that, eh?
that's the life, right? But I do like the fact that we're able to take and you can weigh things like if you like
Yeah,
Bollinger Bands, it's something that's your thing. You can weigh that a little bit more significantly. If you think that ADX has a better impact, you can really start tweaking those numbers a little bit, and I think that's going to really refine how tightly you're able to keep that chop. In that way, you're not like, okay, usually like you told me, the first good signal is usually just coming out of chop. So let's try to refine it to where you're still catching all the good signals, but it's keeping you out of that consolidated area. Or the same thing with those big candles at a 25 to 50% wick back, just that little pullback can knock you out of your stop loss in a trade to begin with. So
Yeah.
That's what we're trying to help you
I
with.
mean, that is the difficult thing about chop is that you don't know that the market's chopping until it starts chopping. You can't say, okay, this candle is going to chop for the next 10 candles. You don't know until you're in it a little bit. And then same thing when it goes back to trending. You don't know that the market's trending until it has already started trending, right? So chop is a really hard thing. It's hard to stay out of chop, and I mean indicators can get you to a certain point, but I mean there's also other things you can do to kind of reduce your risk when the market's chopping, and it's going to be things like limiting the amount of trades you have in a day, having a max loss in a day. You know what I mean? Like if you're going to get this is how you limit it. There's some days that are just going to chop and there's nothing you can do about it. But not letting yourself get, 10, 20 trades in the hole on days that chop is going to be the important part, right? So,
Yeah, and like you said, that's that trader mindset. Get yourself trading in the best time frames that that give you relatively decent trades. Take those 3 to 5 trades, and then when you're done, you're done. What you got is what you got. Move on to the next day.
yeah. So that's what you really got to watch with chop. You got to have your max trades, your max loss, and that's going to be part of what you can't stay out of chop. That's not going to keep you out of chop, but it's going to stop you from getting as hurt when you're in chop. But yeah, we'll refine this. We'll find some good settings. This is just the NQ 2-minute. And yeah, we'll try to refine it a little bit. I don't know if you noticed here. You look at the bottom. It's got this other indicator down there, which is fine. Who knows what that's for? But yeah, we'll clean it up a little bit and make it look better.
Make it where you can hide the signals again, like all of other indicators, to where you can see them to set it up and refine it, and then you can hide the signals and let your chart get as clean as you want.
And we'll clean this up, right? So for just as a good example for anybody else that wants to create signals, the way the bot works is it looks for the name, and then it looks for an underscore, and then the underscore is what it sees as the divider between the prefix and the suffix. So the suffix should be the number. So the reason this is 8076 is because that's the 8,700 or 8,076th signal on the chart. This is the 8,077th. So what it should be is this won't work in the bot the way this is coded. So it would have to be okay. So you got go. So it would be CFS go underscore 8088. So the bot reads everything before the underscore. So in this instance, it's not going to work because you have multiple underscores. So you're not going to be able to differentiate between go and it's not done, right? But I just wanted to, since we're here, bring it out for anybody that wants to create their own. It's all about the underscore. You put your name first, and then underscore, and then the suffix, which will be the number of signals. And this happens, you see how the number goes up because every time a new signal gets printed, that's what it does. It counts them. But we don't necessarily we don't need to count them for the bot. We just need to know the name, which would be the prefix. So when we update
what the last signal was.
Yeah, so when we update this, we'll go in the menu and it'll say, maybe CFS go underscore 8563, and then there'd be CFS low underscore. So all the letters or whatever you want to define the signal as goes before, and then you have the suffix. So.
And the cool thing about that is making that change is literally taking maybe a screenshot showing you what it should look like, or just type out the example, bring that to AI. It'll make that change in the script. It'll print you out a new one, and then bam, that is fixed. It won't touch anything else but the way that it prints. Cool thing about
exactly, right? So I would tell what I would do. I don't even know if I can copy that, but I'll try to. Okay, no, I can't. But anyways, I would tell AI, hey, you know what? This is what I would say. It needs to be in 2 parts. And I don't have to spell things right because it knows. SCORE. And then I would say, for example, okay, CFS. And then AI just knows from math. XX just means anything, right? Divided by X, it's just a term. So AI really, it's really good at recognizing that. So now it would understand that, okay, we have to rename each of the signals to go low, and is it just go low? It's high, go, and
It's
low.
go high. Yeah. It's a
So
go
then,
high and low. Mhm.
yeah, then I would do another one for high there, and it would understand, okay, we need to reorient the signals, and it's just going to say this underscore and then the number of it, right? So it'd be underscore 7958 7980. And then the bot just reads, it knows the bot is already coded to read everything before the underscore. So once it sees an underscore, it says, okay, stop. I don't want to see anything after that. That's not part of what the signal is. So,
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, for anybody that's wants to go ahead and code something, or, you know what I mean, that's the format that we need for the bot. And then it can read the signals fine. But yeah,
And
good
then
stuff.
we just can literally put that into GeneratorX as a state, and then say, okay, then if we're at, the last signal was, that CFS go. Okay, we can go and print master signals, and if it's anything other than that, the slow or the fast, nope. Okay,
Yeah,
we don't want to print any master signals right now.
yeah. So, yeah, we'll spend. So this will probably be out this week. Probably, who knows, early to midweek, depends on how much work it is and where we want to get this to. But yeah, we'll put this out next week. So just watch the Discord. We'll release it, and we'll do a little instructional video like we do with everything, and see how it goes for people. And yeah, I'm excited to put it out. We gotta. What
Yeah.
are we gonna name it? We're gonna keep the name. Maybe we name it the
Oh
Big
man,
Special.
I think everybody's been calling it stoplight, so I think something
Okay.
stoplight, So our gamma, with our gamma X spin to it, or gamma X light or something like that.
Yeah, and then
Or
if anybody has any
so
suggestions, I mean, yeah,
yeah.
might be good.
Sam, maybe you'll have a good suggestion. It was your idea, so you're the one that kind of gave me the idea to come up with it. So that'd be a good idea.
Yeah.
And
But
look, every week, we're kind of growing. We're adding some stuff. We're adding features to the dashboard. We've made some good progress on some of our other projects we've been working on for some time. Our last major hurdle before we really want to go live, we're just about there. We're within a hair's breadth, but we want to make it perfect. We want to have it, everything completely 100% ready. So when we say here it is, it's completely functional, and you have everything you need to make it work.
yeah, yeah, we're always working on stuff, updating things, even if the Discord's quiet or not. There's always stuff going on in the background, so that's why I love having the podcast. It kind of keeps everybody in the loop of what's new, what's going on.
Yeah.
It gives us an opportunity to announce things and to show things. I know this week you did a lot of work on the affiliate program. We're not quite ready to announce it yet, but it's going to be really nice. So basically, what it is each of the affiliates, whoever wants to sign up for it, they'll have their own dashboard so they can see, their affiliate, all the info that they'd want to see, how much they've sold, they've made, and whatnot. So it's going to be it's really nice software. We're connecting to the site. It's just a lot of work, but probably for the next podcast we'll announce it and we'll talk a little bit more about it. But yeah, it's in the pipeline, and I think our saying is going to be 3 and free. So if anybody's interested in doing YouTube videos or whatever they want, they just sign up for the affiliate program. They put a link in their YouTube or TikTok videos, or they make a Discord or whatever they want to do. And yeah, I mean, you get 3 people in, and then your subscription's free. So that's kind
Yeah,
of
and with the portal, you're going to be
simple.
able to see how many times somebody clicked your link, so you know how good that was. If you did like a Facebook post and you want to see how it did, you can literally see exactly how many times somebody clicked through it, and then
Yep.
exactly what your conversions are right there. So it's completely
And
trackable.
another cool thing, which I'm pretty proud of too, regarding that is there's something called cookies, and not everybody would probably be familiar with it, but what it does is it kind of saves your information in the web browser. So, and we set it to 1 year. So which means is if you have your link on a video and somebody clicks the link and it brings them to our website, but they don't buy right away, it remembers that user and it remembers that it was your link that brought the user to our site for up to a year. So even if they clicked your link and they didn't decide to purchase for 6 months or 8 months from now, and then they decided to purchase, because it was you that brought them to the site first using your link within the last year, then it's going to remember that and it'll go towards you for the affiliate commissions. So I think that's a super awesome thing too, right? So yeah, but we'll get more into that probably next week, and as we launch it, we'll do some some targeted videos, you know what I mean, just on the affiliate program and how it works, and just showing off the dashboard and everything like that. So that's going to be
Yeah.
pretty cool. when you get into
It's
that.
going to be exciting. It took a lot to get it to work because they have a little bit older code and getting their code to work with our newer React pages, But hey, we got it to work. We got it done. We overcame it.
Yeah,
And
well,
we'll
not
keep
everybody
going.
can be as advanced and cutting edge as us. So I mean,
I'm
it just
telling you, man.
just is what it is, right?
All right. The crap
Yeah.
we have learned.
Yeah. Anyways, okay. Well, you know what? I think that was really a good podcast this week. I was happy to have you in here, Richard, with the news. And if you're willing to come in next week, we'd be happy to have you. I'm sure.
Oh, fantastic. Yeah, I love the podcast. Love listening to it every week to see what's going on with everything. And super happy to be here and come back.
Yeah. Thanks. I really appreciate it. I mean, like you said, you're a little bit in tune with the news. You're trading a little bit more than we are, so I mean, it makes sense. And yeah, it was a great suggestion. So I was happy to have you in here this week. But anyways, okay, well, I think we'll close it up there. And
Yeah.
yeah, good third episode, and then we'll see you guys next Sunday.
Thanks for joining us, Richard. Appreciate it. Have a good week, everybody.
Take
Take
care.
care, fellas. We'll see you Monday morning.